Gear up, because this is the Fuel Your Marketing podcast, designed to accelerate sales and grow your business. Let's welcome your host, Arti Sharma.
Hello, and welcome back. This is Arti, and I'm so thrilled to have you back on my first episode. For those of you who are joining us for the very first time, I invite you to listen to the intro segment of the Fuel Your Marketing podcast, where I share a little bit about myself, a little bit about what the podcast is all about and what you can expect, and a few other things. So again, welcome back. And this episode is very, very special for me. It's important because a few weeks ago when someone asked me, how long have you been at the helm of Measure Marketing? And I said 2008. I instantly, my brain started to process how many years it has been. And we completed 9 years in December. So it is our 10th anniversary year. And I could not think of a better subject to open the show with. So here I am sharing with you 9 years, 9 lessons, not mistakes. And as I was reliving the last 9 years running by my amazing small agency, there was a lot of mixed feelings, I'll be very honest with you. And those feelings left me with a lot of anxiousness. But at the same time, as I went through that emotional roller coaster, this movie that I would call it for 9 years was playing in my mind, and I saw various shades of success and accomplishments, achievements. And for some of you, these achievements and successes that I share with you today might be very small. But at that time, when these things happened, I would say those were big steps for me at the time. And I'm sure some of you who are either in the startup mode or the growth mode of your company would relate to them. And perhaps those who are pivoting constantly are also going to resonate with them. So without any further ado, I'd like to share with you what propelled me to keep going, what supported me, and what shifted my mindset. What actions did we take in order to be where we are? So here comes the number one lesson that I can share with you. In the first couple of years of my business, I said yes more often, and I did say no, but not as often. And you must be thinking, what does this mean? So let me explain. This is like a double-edged sword. Sometimes you have to say yes enough to realize that you got to say no. So for those of you who are starting out or you have a business which is fairly new, I would say, like us, I was saying yes, and I was going back to my office and then figuring it out. Sometimes I did not know all the answers, but I did say yes because we were cash flow strapped and we wanted that cash flow. We were hungry for case studies. We needed more clients to rely and trust us. And we were venturing into this I would say unknown territory of executing on digital marketing campaigns. I knew about digital marketing, I knew about marketing, I knew about operations and business, but there were a lot of things that I did not have a lot of hands-on experience with. So when somebody trusted me with that experience, I was going above and beyond in delivering that experience and getting results. So that only was possible when I said yes, but I did on the back end took action to make it happen. So the good thing that happened with saying yes was that we worked hard, built the cash flow in the company. And then as I kept growing, because we became a generalist, we became more of a generalist organization, I realized that I'm not as profitable as some of my perhaps other agencies were. And that's when we went back into, again, our business model and started saying a little bit more no's. But more than the business side of things, I did say yes to the right companies, right kind of clients, companies who resonated with us and resonated with me on a core value level. So that was a great thing that came out of it. So I would highly recommend for those of you who are shy of saying yes or kind of fearful of saying yes, think about yes as a positive thing and think from that standpoint. And then again, the number two lesson that I think was really important for me at that time, and again in the 1 to 3 year mark in my business, was that I built the company based on the right people. So while we were hiring the right kind of clients, and we were constantly looking at it as to which clients are we saying yes to in the second and third year, we were also looking at who are we hiring. I often get complimented on you've hired really well or you have a great team. And that wasn't possible if we had not paid attention to that part of our business, because I strongly believe that it's people who build organizations. And I hired those with similar core values and with the right attitude, right mindset. Now, sometimes you miss the mark too. I mean, so don't beat yourself if you have hired wrong or you've not hired the right people. But I did take the advice from one of my mentors, and one of my mentors, who's also my client, said to me, Artie, I always believe you have a great team. And then once I shared a little bit of a issue I was handling with a client, and there was a moment where we were working towards a non-responsiveness of one of the team members, he said to me that, you got to hire slow and fire fast, and take the emotion out from the equation. When you really do that, that's when you'll build a stellar team. So I am blessed. I have an amazing team, and we didn't have to do as many firings because we laid a lot of emphasis on doing the groundwork before we hired the right people, and hiring, taking them through that process. So as I said, I have a stellar team, and I didn't have to do that as frequently. And I'll give you a quick story about this. One of our first employees is still with us, and that's remarkable. That's amazing. And I still have an employee who started with us in January of 2009. And alongside, we had another digital marketer who also started at the same time, but he was coached several times for several months. And then on one fatal conference call, we had to make a decision to, based on the attitude, not the skills, based on the attitude, the approach, by the leadership style, that we had to perhaps part ways. So the only advice, that's number 2 tip, that is to hire well and take the emotion out of your equation. I want to pass on that tip that I was given early on. I would also add to that is that hire people who have the attitude. Again, skills are transferable. Attitude and mindset and the willingness to succeed, the hunger to learn, the hunger to make a difference, to match the core values of people you're hiring to your company's core values, will be a good step for those of you who are looking to grow their team. So if you are a CEO or a marketer, you're trying to hire for somebody on your team, then also do the same things. At the end of the day, it's people who build organizations, as I said. Okay, so that was my number 2 tip. Now, or lesson, I would say. So number 3, I grew through the right strategic alliances and referral programs. And many of you who are the CEOs, salespeople, advertising professionals in your business, because you wear several hats, you would recognize that you are the administrator to the strategic arm of the company, and sometimes sales, and most of the time sales. And when you're in the growth mode, it is so difficult to be able to stay focused on each and every aspect of your business. So I was introduced to this amazing network of people who come together on a set date and under a structured agenda every week. You learn about their goals, their systems, and how they're unique, and what type of clients they want to work with through their infomercials on a weekly basis. And then you build that relationship, you nurture that relationship, and you kind of become each other's sales person on the street. And I'm sure many of you who are around the world listening would be kind of familiar with this concept. So I was introduced to this network, and this concept was started by Ivan Misner, and the organization I'm speaking about is called BNI. So if you have a sales team or you are starting out and looking to grow your network, then by all means, I would highly recommend that you join a local BNI chapter in your area. They have several chapters around the globe. They're a global organization, and as a member, you could actually always go and visit other chapters as well, or across the globe. So I was introduced to this concept in July of 2010. And I think when I look back, it was my first meeting and I was blown away. I was blown away by what I saw and instantly decided that I do want to join this particular organization. So I've been with BNI, and I was with BNI up until like a few weeks ago. And I'm not saying that I'm not saying that it is not good to be a part of BNI. My business expanded to a way, and my purpose and my mission changed over or evolved, I should say, over the years that I wanted to kind of step away for a little bit and then grow my business and be more present for my team and my clients. So I'm not saying that it has to be a BNI for you. If you are not interested in a BNI or that kind of an structure, then find your inner circle of referral partners, a group of clients, maybe an advisory board. So as I said, your inner circle of referral partners, you need to nurture them, develop them, and that is who you want to work with, because that kind of referral exchange, I would say, accelerates your sales growth as well without taking you away from maybe operations or wear other hats that you're wearing. So it's a very smart way of building your business, and I really want to commend BNI and Ivan Misner for creating that kind of platform for several business owners around the world. So look at it from a strategic alliance and a referral program standpoint and see who are the people who you want to be able to refer and you have that trust with, and who you think would be a great referral source for you as well. So give first and then expect something in return only then. So that was my number 3 lesson. I mean, I made that really good decision, and I'm very, very excited about that part that I did that 9 years ago or 8 years ago. So the number 4 lesson. The number 4 lesson is very close to my heart, because I think that is what allowed for me to be where I am today and have a great client satisfaction score for our company as well. And again, as I said, retention. We hired people stayed with us, and I'm really blessed, knock on the wood. And that was only because we were constantly evolving, but we're also creating a lot of value for our clients as well as team members. They're all part of our stakeholders. So the number 4 lesson is systems are the backbone. Now, this applies to any stage of your business, and something I believe no matter what business you are in, what type of industry you are in, there's always room to implement this lesson. This is also important if you care about consistent client experience, and also leveraging your resources is important to you. Because what I saw was that if you're looking to scale your business, or you are at a stage where your business is experiencing phenomenal growth, or even when you're kind of stagnant and working towards your next level growth, you want to really look back and say, do we have the scalability margin? Do we have the systems, the processes to create that compelling experience for our clients at the same time without compromising on the quality of the service or the product? So I paid a whole lot of attention on my service levels, delivery, the systems, and consistent experience. Not saying that we're the gurus or we've figured it all out, but we definitely are always, closely monitoring it, and we're always looking to improve that for all of our stakeholders. Quick story. A few years ago, as part of our holiday luncheon, I met most of our clients, and each one had a great things to say about our company, but in different areas. And some had some really good input also. So that led to kind of refining our processes. So I'm not saying that we just woke up one day and said we are going to look at our systems and our processes. There was a background story to it, and I want to kind of share that story with you, because at the end of the day, when you scale, you want to have your own following, and that your immediate following comes from your clients, because they're also a great source of referrals for you, and they're actually the word on the street for you and your business. So I paid a whole lot of attention on getting their input and then dissecting it to say where does this feedback or good, positive, as well as not so positive, would fit in. And then as a result, we kind of rejigged our project management systems, our execution system. We had much more clearer job responsibilities. Even we empowered our people more through training and education. We kind of brought in a third party to kind of review some of our processes as well at that time. So again, this is for people and companies. Even if you're not a business owner, you are leading a team or you're leading a department or you're the CEO or the general manager for any organization. This takes me back to this level of consistent experience, consistency, and also leveraging. So consistency and leverage are my two really, I would say, keywords here when it comes to saying that systems are the backbone for any organization. And that was my lesson that we learned, that had we not done that and we not monitored that frequently, it would have been very challenging to grow and create that, overall, I would say, growth in our business. So, all right, so we are at number 5, almost halfway through. So the number 5 lesson that I would say is keep the passion alive. I mean, keep evolving, keep igniting. Don't wait for that perfect moment, because if you've chosen to be an entrepreneur, there never will be a perfect moment. I mean, it'll come and it'll go. You have to keep your eyes and ears open to say, when is that right opportunity? And then again, as I said, keep your passion alive. So do it now and do it faster than anybody else. I mean, at the end of the day, you want to be the leader and try and pave the way in your industry. Now, sometimes you won't be the leader, but at least you're not, if you're not the leader, but at least you're striving towards staying leading edge. And keep a close eye on what are the next industry trends that are happening in your business or in your industry, and how can your business perhaps learn from them and bring those ideas, that creative input or those products to market. And also, don't forget to listen to your clients and involve your team in that process, because listening to your clients and your stakeholders and then keeping an eye on the industry trends will actually help you create more innovative and develop more innovation within your business. So when we started kind of backstory here, in 2008, 2009, we started off as more of an SEO company, search engine optimization company, and some bit of website design. At that time, paid advertising wasn't that big, huge. Large companies were buying media on various portals. So that was also part of our offering. We used to work with third parties at that time. So we were a small and mighty team then, and to be honest with you, we're still a mighty team. And at that time, when we were small and mighty, we were more focused towards web design and SEO company, and we were constantly looking at what our customers needed, what was the industry trend, how can we enhance, evolve our service offering, and that kept us alive and more passionate about our business as well. Because sometimes if you keep doing the same thing over and over again without bringing that creative input and evolving your ideas, I think sometimes you kind of lose interest. And maybe it is because we are a digital marketing company and we felt that we needed to, not that we needed to constantly innovate, we just needed to keep ourselves more passionate about what we're doing by bringing in stellar results for our clients. And anytime that we felt that we're kind of doing the same thing and expecting different results, we looked back and said, okay, this is what we need to do and test. And we became the knowledge base for our clients. And that's what has helped us stay more passionate and more vested in our business as well. For some of you, that might be different, that may look different. So find what keeps that passion alive in your business, in your department, in your team, and then keep changing things up to live that purpose, live that passion on a daily basis. So that was lesson number 5, keep the passion alive. Number 6, I would say, was when we kind of passed that 5-year mark, we always dreamt big. And I would always say that, dream big and don't let others dictate what you're good at. So again, listen and take feedback. I mean, that's very important, but definitely review that feedback and suggestions. And, don't be realistic. Everyone else is realistic. Play outside the comfort zone and have no ceilings. And if anyone tries to put a ceiling, just smash it and break it and keep, raising that bar for yourself. So that's my number 5 lesson. And why do I say that? I'll give you a quick example of that. When I first started hosting live videos or videos in general, or even, those pre-recorded corporate videos, I look back and of course they're not nowhere close to what we do now. But when I look back, there's a transformation that has happened from how we used to operate to how we operate now, and how I used to record them then, and how I would kind of show up for my videos then, and how I show up now. And that's what I think was a good example, because while I was doing my first few videos, I was actually told that I should get a voiceover, and I don't think live videos were the way for me. And people would come back and say, "Oh, you're doing live videos. Maybe that's not the way for you." And of course it was kind of painful to go back and say, "Wow, people really want to not build you up, and people want to bring you down." But there will be people who would say, "Great going, awesome to see you doing certain things that not many people are doing." So I got the mixed feedback, but like any human being, you kind of, for just a little bit, you go to the negative side and kind of play there and come back. So I reflected, took it as a feedback for my betterment and my company's vision and, visibility standpoint, and started to kind of observe my energy when I was going up and showing up for those videos. And again, my script, my voice intonation, and where do I improve. And I kind of took some online video tips and say, how do you record your videos? How do you show up in a better way? And I kept kind of at it. So I kept dreaming and kept taking action, as as I always believe that you're the one who creates your life. So at this point, I want to thank everyone who gave me their inputs, because if I was not being told that I'm not good at it, I would perhaps not be here doing this podcast. So I really want to say that those of you who were giving me positive feedback, cheerleading me, thank you. And for those of you who were giving me your constructive feedback, or you were sabotaging me or my confidence, and you really meant well, then also I keep you in high regards, because you helped me create a better version of me and an absolutely amazing company. At the same time, kept me in an unknown way, pushing through and pushing towards my goals and, dreaming big. So I'm glad that you did that. So thank you very much. If you were one of those people, in either case. So number 7. Now it's very hard, I would say, that to sum up 9 years, but I will tell you, you don't have to do it alone, right? So that's my number 7 tip. Don't do it alone. I didn't believe in coaching up until 2012. And then I made a bold decision one day to exit a large client and exit my large client to trade my sanity. I should put that there. And also to get my creativity back. I'm sure some of you relate to it. So I don't want to say that the client was bad or, wasn't a great client. It was just that we had different goals for our companies, and expectations were a little bit misaligned. I still love them, but it was time to get out of our comfort zone and stand up for ourselves. And also in this process, I wanted to help them evolve into a different business, because clearly what they wanted us to do and what they were doing for their clients was not resonating with us. So the 7th lesson is to don't do it alone. Although when you're taking bold actions, comes with anxiety and restlessness. So when this happened, I was in the same space of anxiety, restlessness. When you start to self-doubt your actions, and at that time, I reached out to a very good friend of mine and a client at that time, and I shared with her as to where I am and how, this big chunk of high 5-figure income is no longer going to be part of my business, and my focus immediately shifted towards bringing in a new revenue, but I was in this mode of self-doubt. So she recommended her business coach and said, you must speak to her. She's amazing. She'll give you that direction. And also, I think you need that mindset coaching right now because you're self-doubting yourself. So that worked really well. And as I spoke to this was my first time speaking to a business coach, and I somehow felt the connection. I said, okay, I'm going to give it a try. And for the next 12 months, by having her on my side, we not only replaced what we let go, while we grew by almost 40% that year. So I have a lot of respect for coaching, mentoring, and having that accountability partner. So I highly recommend for those of you who are even in the leadership positions to kind of find a mentor, find an advisory board, or find some sort of an accountability partner, or even for those of you who are starting out, you may see this as an expense initially, and you're like, Artie, we're barely able to meet our expenses and our cash flows tight and whatnot. But this would be a great investment that you could make perhaps in your business, and do it as soon as you can. Because to have an accountability partner does not mean a coach instantly. It could be another business owner, also a colleague, or a group of business owners that you bring together. When we kind of share our goals and objectives with somebody else, it actually keeps us accountable in accomplishing them and taking action. So thank you to both of these amazing ladies. You know who you are, and I would not do it alone ever again, is what I would say. And I'm still part of couple of peer advisory boards, and I have a business coach and a sales coach. So I do think that is an important element for any business owner, because we get lonely at the top sometimes. Okay, so the number 8, and that's an interesting one that I'm bringing up now. And again, the number 8 lesson that I would say that I learned was that, Artie, numbers don't lie. And as much as I want to say and emphasize a lot more on this, I would say that review your numbers as closely as you can and ensure your data dictates your actions. And I want to dedicate this last, I would say not the last, but second last lesson on numbers don't lie to one of my mentors, who said to me that, Artie, blood runs through your veins and money runs through our business. So keeping a close check on your numbers is very, very important. As an entrepreneur, focus on your sales and your numbers and where you're spending your expenses and your profits, and all sort of numbers that really matter for you and your business, because numbers don't lie. And it's funny, as a CEO of a company that's big on data, we learned this lesson the hard way when we realized that we were focused on perhaps the same numbers, even when the stage of our business changed. And we were not looking at the right numbers, or maybe we were looking at numbers, but those numbers didn't really matter at this stage in our business. So looking at them on a regular basis, but looking at the right numbers also is very, very important. For those of you who have maybe the luxury of having an accountant in-house, or a bookkeeper, or an outsourced accounting firm and a bookkeeping firm who could possibly help you, or maybe an admin person who takes care of your expenses, your profitability, your sales numbers, etc. Try and kind of create your own dashboard that you look and review with some of your other team members, or those who manage the different business units within your organization. Because at the end of the day, it is so critical for you to be aware of where you're spending and where your profits are coming from, and what is the product that you want to evolve and have your own innovative concentration on, or areas that you want to fix if there is any leak per se. And these small leaks really account for a larger number. So finding that spot where you can actually review your numbers on a monthly basis would be a good starting point. And sometimes it's not pleasant. It wasn't pleasant for me, so I had to actually put it on my calendar and commit that time on my calendar so that I can look at it. Initially, it wasn't very fancy. It was just in a spreadsheet. And, as I said, if you have an accounting department, you can ask them to build you a dashboard. But now there are so many sophisticated apps that do that for you. So see what you're using for your accounting and your invoicing and your expense tracking, and then maybe from there you could build something for yourself. So take a deep look at your numbers, because numbers don't lie. So what is the number 9 lesson, not mistake? Because it's a Fuel Your Marketing podcast, I have to say I took the time to fuel myself. And sometimes slow months were good because they actually forced me to take that time away from the business. They inspired me to create. And when you have that right attitude and mindset and energy, we tend to also make better decisions. So I took really, I would say, when I look back, those months didn't seem right, because if it was a slow month, I would be beating myself. But when I look back, I'll tell you a story here that in summer of, I think it was around summer of 2014, and it was a slower than usual month at that time. But when I look back, a lot of growth happened the following year, because during that time, I was in a creative space. More strategic thinking was happening and more actions were taking place at that time. And I was able to detox my thoughts, my systems, be it operationally or be it through the marketing or the prospecting side of things. And in most cases, this opportunity seemed at that time really a bad opportunity. I didn't want a slow month, but when I look back, it actually did well for my business, because the following year, we actually grew our business tremendously. The success that we achieved since then to now was amazing. So I would say take the time to fuel yourself, detox your thoughts, and take time to detox is what my number 9 tip would be, and fuel yourself. So get away from those toxic thoughts, thinking processes, and get rid of those toxic systems and processes. Get rid of toxic people in your life or your company. Build those relationships and fuel yourself for that next level of growth in your business. So these were my 9 lessons. I really hope you enjoyed them. Just to quickly recap, the number 1 tip was say yes more often and know when the time is right. Hire the right people and make sure that you hire fast. Hire slow and fire fast. Also, grow your business by joining the right strategic alliances, or building those strategic alliances, and by joining the right organizations. Create systems and processes. Make sure consistency and leverage in your business is key if you're looking for that next level of growth. Again, number 5 was keep the passion alive, keep evolving. Don't wait for that perfect moment. Keep challenging yourself and stay innovative in your business. Stay leading edge. And don't do it alone was the number 7 tip that I shared with you, number 7 lesson. Don't believe in coaching. I didn't do it, but I would never move ahead without a coach or without an accountability partner in my life or my business. And again, pay close attention to your numbers, because numbers don't lie. They run through your business, either coming in or going out. So profits, expenses, keep a track of your numbers, or whatever numbers are important to you and your business. And then number 9, keep yourself in alignment. Fuel yourself, because it's important for you to be in that creative space in your business and keeping that passion and everything else alive. So with that said, thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to having you at our next episode. Please do let me know either through social media, follow us on fuelyourmarketing.ca, and share the podcast with your friends and family if you think anybody else in your network would benefit from it. So please feel free to share that as well. I look forward to having you at our next show. And again, keep crushing it. Until then, have a great day.
Thank you for listening to the Fuel Your Marketing podcast. For more episodes, visit www.fuelyourmarketing.ca.